focusing on the fact that we want to do minimally invasive dentistry for our patients, and of course, bone augmentation and things like that is far from minimally invasive. Very rigid materials is a huge benefit for these bonded bridges. Now, this is really what changed my mind. I know that this is why, close to 10 years ago, Ray and I got very, very excited about this. He later published his knowledge, and it's really has caused a good amount of attention in the dental, especially in the dental community, especially in the community of people that are in love with adhesive dentistry. If you do an implant, let me just remind you, my friends, if you do an implant, and if it's a really good implant, based on research, at 5 years, there's 40% chances that something is going to have a problem with that implant. Now, based on research, these bonded bridges, the bonded cantilever bridges, at 10 years, 100% success. Because this is a kid, a pretty young guy, early 20s, who got an implant and to replace a congenitally missing tooth, and done by specialists. And unfortunately, the implant failed. And implants failed. I mean, that's what the literature shows. It failed, but in his case, it failed royally. And it damaged the bone on the adjacent teeth, especially the molar. I mean, especially the central, the left central. And very little, the canine was almost intact, fortunately, but the left central has so much bone loss. So this is a nightmare. Now, this kid is on a safe plate. I mean, it's again another good-looking kid. I mean, he wanted to have a nice tooth, and now he's walking around with a stay plate and with no solutions, because you cannot put anything on number 8. You apply any force on number 8, and it won't last very long. So this was referred to me by a periodontist, and what can you do here to find a solution? And of course, adhesive dentistry to the rescue. This type of bonded, bridge is could save the day. The universal principles of success, things that you need to follow when you're doing bonded bridges. The right choice of materials, the dimension of the connectors to avoid breaking or separation of your pontic. Stiff materials, ideally, not always possible. Sufficient size of the bondable surface, good bonding protocols, understand adhesion. And the management of occlusal forces. And I create an outline now with a burr. And then after that, I do depth cuts. Again, using the burr that is going to give me a 0.7 millimeter in depth. When you do that, you're going to be mostly on enamel. You're not going to get into dentin very much, maybe in a few spots, but very, very few. I think it's a good idea to have the patient bite and mark the patient's centric contact in red. And then you can make sure that your margin of your pad is either outside or fully inside of your pad. And then your depth cuts, and when you do that, then you're going to be able to create a nice preparation. The laboratory will fabricate the bonded bridge. This is zirconia with layered porcelain. And as you can see, I mean, you saw the damage that existed on the tooth, right? I mean, so really recreating a papilla here is not going to happen. But nevertheless, we were able to give them a pretty nice looking result.